So when Reuben was little, he really loved riding transit, riding buses and trains. So we used to do a lot of riding. So I remember when we did our alphabetical trips, and we would start at Alewife and then just keep going. Go to Braintree. I'm Angela.
And I'm Reuben, and we are avid transit riders. I ride transit because I love transit. We mostly use it to get to different things we need to do in our day-to-day life. For example, a lot of my mom's medical appointments, they're in the Fenway area.
I find the trips that I do on the regular, I know how to do them, so they're not too bad. But let's say I want to have a trip in Boston for some other reason, right? Just to have fun. And that can get more difficult because I don't necessarily know exactly where all of the places I need to go are. Like I don't know where all of the elevators are in Downtown Crossing, because Downtown Crossing has like 15 elevators that you have to go to get where you want to go. It's awful for elevators.
And another thing that is really challenging is whenever you want to take a scooter, you have to take an elevator, and sometimes you have to take multiple elevators, and a lot of times they are down, which causes me to carry the scooter downstairs, which is never fun. That just poses a huge problem to all people, and I just think that's something transit systems really need to work on.
The gap on the train is challenging too. Because
the wheels will get stuck in between the platform and the actual train, and this happens on especially the Red Line. I've had it get stuck multiple times, and it really is. Then you have to carry it, which makes it, if my mom's traveling out on her own, it's really hard for her because she has to carry it on, and that's really challenging.
I can walk, I can get around without this scooter here. Usually if I'm walking long distances, I use a cane because my legs just don't work quite as well as a person would want them to work, and I get really tired. So I get very fatigued, and that's why if I'm going long distances, the scooter is a magic bullet because I can sit down while I'm getting to where I need to go.
My mom also has a tremor on their hand.
Oh yeah.
Like tapping her card. Sometimes the machine won't read it.
That's the hardest thing getting on the bus, actually, is because you always have to tap, and it's with your right hand, and my right hand has a big tremor in it, so I often have to tap several times. One thing that's nice that the MBTA does is you can have a pass if you have a disability. That's about, I think it's about half off. It's the same as a student pass is, or the senior pass, and that is very nice. I find it, the reason that they do it, it doesn't have to do anything about your income or anything like that. What they say is it sort of makes up for the inconvenience of riding the T when you have a disability.
So they know how hard it is.
They know that it is inconvenient. It is a little hard to get, right? You have to like talk to your doctor, get your doctor to write a note, fill out a form, go to Downtown Crossing station. You have to go and you have to apply, and then later on, I think you have to pick it up. I remember having to go down there a couple of times to be able to get the whole pass.
And sometimes there's like 2-hour lines.
Yeah, no, that's not a pleasant place to have to go.
And I get that they need to do that just to make sure, but I feel like to get a card, it should be easier than that.
I would say in the Boston area, to me, bus feels like the easiest thing to do because they'll just flip out the ramp.
Yep.
You can scoot up the ramp. Occasionally, maybe it'll have trouble because it might be at a tight sidewalk, or there's some reason why they have a hard time putting out the ramp, but most of the time it works fine. If you need to be stabilized, I'll often just hold the scooter or have somebody else hold onto it because it's very lightweight. But it can be stabilized. They can clip you in. It does depend on a driver that's doing a good job of their job, right? So I use a cane a lot. Most of the time the driver will do the kneeling bus. Sometimes they don't, which means I either have to ask or I have to just take a great big step up if they you know, for whatever reason can't or don't do that. So I do think it's nicer with some drivers than with other drivers, and that's because the bus is so driver dependent.